Hello and welcome back to my channel, True Talk with Ericka Sallee, where I empower women to live fulfilled, to focus on personal well-being, and to transform into the best versions of themselves. I'm excited to talk to my guest for this episode, Colette Colclough, about the power of women and the role we play in an ever-changing world. Take a listen. So hello and welcome to another episode of True Talk with Ericka Sallee, and I am very excited to have my dear friend Colette Colclough here to have a brief conversation. I know her well, but I want to make sure you know who she is. She is a retired vice president of human resources. She is the visionary, the CEO of the Forward Women's Leadership Forum, which we're going to get into in just a little bit, and so many other things. She's a chairwoman. She is doing so many great things to empower women, to connect people. That's who she is. That's who I know her to be. And so, Colette, thank you.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you. It's wonderful hearing all the things that you're saying. You're a great person, Erica, and I'm proud to say I'm your friend.
That, well, that goes without saying for me too. So let's just jump right into it. I thought about how I wanted to start this conversation, and I think the best question I want to ask first and foremost is, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Um, I don't. You ask how am I doing? I think my emotions are all over the place. Um, you know, they run the gambit of being disappointed, fearful, injected with maybe hope for the tomorrow, wonderment, amazement. I- you can go down the list. I think that in probably the last few weeks, I've experienced them all in one.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I'm glad you said that because number one, it's the reality of where many of us are.
yeah,
It's that authentic way of of answering the question. Because you know how it is when we're asked, how are you doing? We are so quick to be like, oh, everything's great. I'm good.
I'm
No.
good. Yeah.
And that's usually not the case. There's always something. So I appreciate you just bringing that authentic response because I'm feeling the same way. And it's great to be
Yeah.
connected in this space with you to know that, yeah, we're kind of moving through this thing together. So, what is it that brings the wonderment and amazement into the picture?
Well, I think the wonderment is where does this land? Wh- what is going on today? And let's just define what we think is going on today. There's a lot of confusion. That's by design.
hmm
That's um, infiltrated people of color, the LGBTQ community, women as a whole. But, it is by design. It is not an overnight thing. Wonderment is, does it ever stop? Will it ever stop? And how with a stroke of a pen, the confusion chaos is created. Um, some of the wonderment is what approach? How? What approach? How should I think about these things? And I don't think that I approach these things with a knee-jerk reaction rather than what is the strategic plan for moving us ahead, moving us forward. What is the strategic plan? What is the hope for the children for tomorrow? I have a son. I have a son who'll be 30 this year. Um, will he be a president of a company? Can he be a president of a company?
Mhm.
Will women be able to run certain things? What
But what I love about what you're doing with the Forward Women's Leadership Forum is that you are giving us a place to land so that we
Mhm.
can come together in community and figure out how we show up in that space and perhaps other spaces outside of that. So I want you to talk about how the forum is poised to meet the moment that we're in.
So, it's not the original thought. And that's one thing that I do like about the forum is that we're able to update ourselves and to talk about current events. The mantra is, are you ready?
Mhm.
We've said this now this is year 3. No longer can we get ready. We're supposed to be ready.
Yes.
And if you're not ready, we invite you to come to the forum to learn how to get ready.
Yeah. And I want to be clear because this is year 3 of asking that question as part of the forum. Are you ready? But
Yeah.
is this the 7th year that the forum has?
Yes, this is the 7th year of the forum. Yeah. Yeah. And we pivoted because in the spaces that I name, in the pillars that we're hanging our hat on, there are a lot of us that aren't ready.
Mhm.
There are a lot of us who um, think that we're financially fit and we're not financially fit.
Yeah.
It's hard to fight that battle and not be financially fit. Um, if we're not healthy, if we're not well, you can't fight a battle.
That's right. And I'm
We
glad you
we
brought that up because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
that's been one of the things that has been sort of like, my pillar when I think about my services, well-being is the foundation of that because
Correct.
we can't move forward and we're saying this intentionally, right? So we can
Yeah.
get our mindset around moving forward. But when we're bogged down, when we're stressed out, when we're frustrated, when we're anxious, which is what the climate wants us to be and feel like, because then it diminishes our ability to step forward with clarity, with intention, with strategy, with all the things that we need in order to figure out how to position ourselves. Like, how do you break it down in pieces that people can take what they need and move? What's the
Move
word?
forward. Move forward. So, um, let me say this: we cannot tackle all things. We will not be able to address all things. One. The second thing is that there are some people, things that get left behind, um, get tossed aside, and get stepped over in the fray of the fight or the win. Everyone will not win. But what everybody has a responsibility to do is to think based on information that they receive.
Credible information that
And
matters.
I was going there. Credible information. In this world now where you're bombarded with information, and part of that is a master plan
Mhm.
um, to confuse you. And in the confusion, you are off kilter. You actually are off kilter because you are in a place of trying to figure out, hey, what is the truth. So I'm just going to punch the air. I'm going to punch the air, and there's nothing strategic about punching air,
Mhm.
right?
Because you're missing there's no target that you're hitting.
Correct.
Mhm.
And so what the forum does is an attempt to say, here's what we're seeing in 2025. Whether it's in the White House, our house, your house, my house.
Mhm.
Okay. Here's what we're seeing. Here's how you can help yourself. Here's how you can help yourself in a small way or in a big way. Some of it may be reinforcement for some, and for others, it might be brand new. The other thing is that we bring sisterhood into play. We're not there to judge you whether you know it or not. We are there to assist you and to help you and to give you a method to help yourself, to help yourself. And then we wrap our arms and our tools and our sisterhood and our love and our giving. We wrap that around you.
How do people get tickets? Because the forum is coming up on Friday,
Yep.
March the 7th, which happens to
March
be
the 7th.
International Women's Day.
Yes. So International Women's Day is on a Saturday. We're holding our event on a Friday. So all of you all that need to put in your little slips, put in your little slips to be able to come. We start as early as 8 a.m. with our vendors. 8:30 is registration. And we will be at the Marriott in Owings Mills. Marriott in Owings Mills. What's important about that is there is parking.
Yes,
There's
there is
parking for everyone, and it is free. Free. So,
free is always good. Now the parking
yes.
is free, but your ticket to the forum
But
is
and my tickets aren't free because we have to pay the Marriott, right? And lunch is included, and we have the best swag. Um, you can get the tickets on Eventbrite. If you look up Forward Women's Leadership Forum on Eventbrite, you will see the event there. It is our annual event. And I don't say often enough, it is a fundraiser to help us to deliver the content and the programming throughout the year.
I'm going to ask one final question.
Uh-oh.
And that is, as women, what do you think is, and this might be difficult to answer, but what do you think is the most important thing that we should be focusing on right now in the time that we're in?
As women, okay. I don't think that my answer will be just for women.
Okay.
My answer is for us to act strategically. And maybe for women, I think a lot of times our emotions may rule or
Mm-hmm.
outrule our head. You know, the answer or uh, it contributes more or heavily to our problem solving. And I think sometimes we need to step back and take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath before we actually react.
Perfect way to bring this conversation to a close because it allows us to just sit and be
Mm.
and
Yeah.
think, right? From a lot
Yeah.
of different angles. So again, I want to thank you, Colette,
You're
for
welcome.
joining me for this conversation. Again, if you want to be part of the forum, I do encourage you to look out for the Eventbrite link. I'm also going to post the link to Colette's website, which again is forwardwlf.org. Find out all the goods about what she's up to and how she is being of service. And if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, I do encourage you to subscribe to the channel, share it out, and yes, turn those notification bells on, the notification bell on, so that you know when new conversations like this and more are uploaded. So with that being said, I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Until I do, take care of yourselves and be well. Colette, thanks again.
Thank you for having me.